definitely was a extremely new character from what I usually play. I was never really religious growing up, so playing someone extremely religious was different. It required a little bit of research on my end. You know, I had fun with it as much as you could with a play with the serious of a storyline. Playing someone new just brings out the creativity that I love to bring to things, you know?
It's definitely really, really different because when you're in front of an audience, for me at least, you get such a connection with the audience, even though you're like so in the scene. You're like right there, you get that rush of adrenaline from being on stage and just doing it live. And it was really weird for me. Like I said, this was my first quote unquote film. It was weird, but in time I got used to it, and I'm sure all of us got used to it as well. And that led us to be here today.
The two main differences for me, one, it's a lot less pressure, for sure. But at the same time, it's hard to know whether the things that you're saying and how you're acting is going to connect, or if it's going to connect at all. Performing in front of an audience, you can usually feel the response that they're giving, whether it be a verbal response or just a certain tension in the room. It's a lot harder to know. You kind of have to just trust that what you're doing is right. If it feels right, then it probably is right, and you just have to trust that it's going to hit the way you want it to.
So I know for some of my parts, I was just with Adam by myself, so really trying to focus in on just using my character and trying to come up with a persona for my character without relying on other people saying things to me. That was both a challenge and also a really creative aspect for me to work on. So that's how screen time definitely changed my acting experience.
So I'm Bella, and I played Tiresias. The creative process was definitely made harder given the fact that we're in a pandemic. Typically, I would try to meet with an actually blind person and speak with them, maybe buy them a cup of coffee, talk with them, ask them about their personal experiences, so that way I could really reach that level of attempted understanding in order to engage with the role. But given the fact that we are in a pandemic, I couldn't do that. So I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of interviews on YouTube, and it was something that, while you'll never be fully content with it, you have to accept it for what it was and that you put the effort into it.
I think I really enjoyed when we were filming outside, like the beginning scene. I know me and Zyra, we were freezing, so we were like joking around mid-cut. So I think that will always stay in my brain, like one of my favorite scenes ever filming, even though we were freezing out there.
That was one of my favorites too. I remember we filmed outside and it was so cold, and that was the first time I'd filmed in person, and that was the most fun I had in a long time because I really didn't see anybody. So seeing everyone was like a mini party.
It was definitely a little sad at the beginning when we were just over Zoom, and I didn't get that social aspect of being in a play that we always get. So I really did love having the few rehearsals we had in person.
I think that our show was like a pretty close parallel to kind of showing what the world is dealing with right now. Also, in a lot of scenes, you saw the chorus members, and they were holding signs at protests, which is a lot of what's going on right now in the world too. And I think that doing a show like that right now is so important, and being able to express that creatively in a way that is showing people, what's really happening in the world. And I think it was great that this was the show that was chosen for this time.
The scene when we're in the auditorium with all the seats, we kept all the covering on it that said, please keep social distancing. So I think that definitely helped to showcase what we were trying to say. And the fact that even as chorus members while filming, we were all kind of kept away from each other. And during that scene, you can see we're all every other row and 6 seats apart from each other. So the whole social distancing thing was definitely brought into it.